Hey guys, Sparks here back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. Is Sakura your real waifu, or should the commander have run away? Let's look at her skills, team comps, PvE, and PvP performance tests. So Sakura is a fire type burst 1 support with a sniper rifle, and she has some pretty unique skills. The first skill activates after 3 attacks and affects all allies, increases defense for 15 seconds. In most situations, this is probably her worst move. It stacks a lot, but defense isn't really needed that much, and you're better off using an actual shield or healing. Her skill 2 has 2 parts. The first one is always active and makes your whole squad deal extra damage to projectiles. This is stuff like those slow-moving bombs you see a lot of bosses throw at you, or the missiles from the train. More on the train later. I know a lot of you are interested in that. The second part of the skill activates when in full burst. It reduces cooldown. It reduces the cooldown of the burst, and this is a very good effect that is only the 4th Nikke to do this, I believe, the others being Leader, Dola, and Volume. Her burst, it affects all allies and reduces damage from winged enemies for 30 seconds. This is very situational, but it is a huge reduction in damage that is highly effective in specific situations. The downside is that it only works once per battle. It also increases her attack for 10 seconds, and an attack boost is always good. Additionally, if her first skill is at full stacks, your whole squad will deal extra damage to those red interrupt circles that the boss those red interrupt circles for the bosses for 30 seconds. This is another very situational move, and it can be difficult to time, but I was able to actually stop some high-level raid boss attacks that I was not otherwise able to interrupt. The other unit that does this is Helm. So all of this is good, but it's kind of awkward to use optimally, and the biggest downside is that the cooldown is 40 seconds, which necessitates using 2 burst 1 units. As a support with no abilities that hinge on specific needs from cube enhancements, you can probably just give her whatever's leftover cube that you're not using on something else without worrying too much. But I usually gave her the Resilience Cube for reload speed or the Onslaught Cube for charge damage, depending on who else was in the squad. So just like when I reviewed Makima, there was no need for a shooting range DPS test. Link to the video up at the top and in the description if you're interested. But yeah, Sakura, because basically none of her abilities apply to normal stages like that, this is a big thing for newer players or people missing some of the staple units to consider. She is very little added value for general use. She might not even be worth investing in. So let's talk squad comps. Honestly, you don't want to use her for general purpose use, so basically you want to build the squad you would need for that specific boss you're fighting, and then add Sakura as needed. The most important thing you need to keep in mind is that you need a second burst 1. This is probably her biggest weakness. I found that there were often situations where you might think she looks good on paper, but when it came to actually forming a squad, it was kind of awkward. With the train in particular, I could just never find a squad with Sakura that functioned well. I tried her with Diesel, Noah, Rapunzel, various burst 3 attackers, and it always felt like a watered down version of something else. Like I might as well do an all-in Snow White build, or the Noise Diesel Dodge combo, or just throw in Makima. Trying to make Sakura work was just making the team worse. However, there is one big exception to this. The one unit I need to call out is Ludmilla. Unfortunately, she is one of the few units that I still don't have, but people in my union have reported extremely impressive results with this combo. And in Special Interception or high level raid, Train is an extremely durable, combo to do due to the reduced damage from Sakura's burst and Ludmilla's skill 2. You can tank an insane amount of damage when these are active, and they trigger exactly how you'd want them to, with Sakura bursting first, then Ludmilla's skill triggering from the full burst mode. If you have some strong DPS units, this can easily buy you enough time to get through the turrets and missile launchers. Now, I already mentioned this, but in general PvE situations, Sakura is not very good. She has some decent effects with reducing cooldown and giving herself an attack buff, but generally you'll have better options. However, she does have a place in specific situations against bosses. Obviously, the train if you have Ludmilla, and although she might not be your best team, she can be helpful in your second or third raid team for some high-level bosses other than the train as well. She has no business being in PvP. Basically, you only want to use her in Arena if you're brand new and have no other options. All her skills are specifically aimed for PvE. Theoretically, she could dunk on an all-win team, but good luck finding that matchup. Maybe in the far future, the PvP meta will have an elemental-specific strategies, but who knows. Sakura is a good pickup if you have the extra resources, but as I said, when I did my poll video, I wouldn't go all in. If you're a newer player, she is easily skippable. Unless you just really like her design or her character, then go for it, right? Play with the characters that you like. That's the most important thing. She's actually pretty cool, and her burst animation is super amazing. I think one of the coolest ones that we've seen. But let me know what I've missed. There's probably more cool stuff with Sakura that I haven't found, and check out my other unit reviews. My goal is to eventually do an in-depth review for every unit. Alright, catch you guys in the next stream or the next video.